Hi, and welcome to another video by Jimthecarguy. Today we're going to talk about a problem that's kind of common with Hondas. I think they're 2002 to 2007, 2008. There's a buzzing noise coming from the power steering. When the car is running, you can hear like a buzzing type noise, and when you turn the wheel, you'll get a little bit more of a noise. I'm going to start it. I'm going to see if you can hear the noise. Hopefully you can, but I'm going to show you how to repair it. It's a fairly easy repair. And basically, it's not going to be replacing the pump or anything. It's just going to be replacing this O-ring. It's actually kind of common for that O-ring to actually leak a little bit. And what happens is it's on the fluid side, not the pressure side, but the suction side. What happens is it gets a little bit of air inside the system. It pulls in some air. It doesn't leak fluid, but it pulls in some air, and it gives you like a buzzing type noise when you turn the steering. So let me start it up, see if you can hear it, and then I'm going to show you how to fix it. It's a fairly easy job, but it's a little bit messy. So let's start it up and see what it sounds like. Okay, so you can hear that buzzing noise. Hopefully you can hear it on the video, but when you turn the wheel, you can hear like that buzzing zzz type noise. So that's what it's all about. So, all right, I'm going to show you what kind of tools you're going to need, and then we're going to get in there. We're going to take care of it. You're going to need some rags because it is going to be a little messy. You're going to need a little power steering fluid. This one is actually in a fairly easy location. This is a four-cylinder. If it was a six-cylinder, it's a little bit more difficult to get to. That's back in the back. Further underneath the belt area, but that's not the case here. So let me show you what you're going to need, and we're going to get started. Okay, we're going to use a scribe like this to take this O-ring off of the unit itself. You're going to need a socket, a ratchet. You're not going to need a bunch of sockets. It's just basically a 10 millimeter. We're going to need a light so we can see what we're doing inside there. You're going to need a couple of rags that you want to stick in there because you don't want fluid leaking all over everything. This is where it's actually located. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. This is the, you can see where it comes from the power steering reservoir here, and it comes in up here. This is where the O-ring is actually located. We're not going to take this clamp off here. We're going to actually take out that 10 millimeter screw right there. We're going to pull this out, take the O-ring off, put the new O-ring on, lubricate it, and then put it back in. So it sounds easy, and it really is, so let's get started. Okay, now if you have a socket, you can use a socket. If you have a wrench, you can use a wrench, whatever you have. We're just going to crack it loose. And we're not going to put this back together. We're going to be very careful when we screw this back together because you're screwing into plastic. So we're just going to unscrew this. You're going to make sure you have your rags down below because it is going to be messy. Now you're not going to get a lot of fluid because the hose itself is actually higher than the reservoir, but you'll get a little bit of leakage through here. So we're just going to be prepared for it so we don't make too much of a mess. I'm just going to stick that rag on there. As you can see, this is the O-ring here. All right, and then to put the new O-ring on, we're just going to basically put it over the top like this. Push it over it like this. We're going to put a little bit of power steering fluid on the O-ring itself. And we're going to put it back in. And you just twist it and push it, and it pops right in. We're going to screw that 10 millimeter bolt in by hand, of course. going to snug it down a little bit. Now you're only going into plastic and aluminum, so be very careful. All right. Now we're going to clean off any kind of fluid that we had inside there. Now we didn't have too much of a fluid loss on this one, so it was really not too bad. But the reason you want to be careful is because, as you can see, your alternator's right here. You don't want to have a bunch of fluid running down inside your alternator, so just be real careful with it. All right, now we're going to start it up, and then we're going to check our fluid level just to make sure it's okay. Nice and dry, not leaking. Be very careful, you don't want to get your hands in there. We're going to let this run for just a little bit. We shut the door. We shut the door. Okay, so now that we have the O-ring replaced and we have the fluid back inside the unit itself, we're going to start it up. We're going to let it run a little bit. It's not running now because it's too noisy when I'm doing a video. And somebody will definitely send me a message saying it's too noisy. But we're going to let this run, and we're going to let the air work its way out. The way you get the air out of the system is just turn the wheel from stop to stop. Left stop to right stop, and just keep on going back and forth, and you'll work out any air that's inside the system itself, and you'll be perfect. Make sure it's not leaking, and that's it. You're done, and that'll take care of your buzzing noise without changing your power steering pump. It's nice and dry, not leaking. Be very careful, you don't want to get your hands in there. We're going to let this run for just a little bit. We shut the door. As always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.